Hey guys, and welcome back to the, 76th, 77th, somewhere around there, episode of the Yarn Junkie podcast. My name is Amber. It has been a long time since I've sat down and done one of these, so bear with me. Welcome all new and returning viewers. If you are a returning viewer, thanks so much for sticking with me and coming back and checking out what I've been up to. If you're a new viewer, welcome. Like I said, I'm coming to you from Texas, where I live with my husband, our 3 daughters. We have a almost 14-year-old, almost 9-year-old, and an almost 2-year-old. And 3 dogs, 3 cats. We actually got kittens this summer, and we got 2 kittens, and I'd been feeding this stray, and she kind of comes and goes. But since we've gotten the kittens and they've kind of grown up, she hangs out all the time now. So we have 3 outdoor cats, and we even got fish, I think, since we last spoke. So I've been pretty busy. Lots of things have been going on. The last time I sat down and did this, I was gearing up to go to Fiberfest. I did go to Fiberfest, and I met the grocery girls. That was a lot of fun. I did some shopping while I was there. I got a lot of stuff, but I'm not going to show you all of it because a lot of it's packed away. This is November 12th. 13th, something like that. Happy Veterans Day if you are a veteran or if you're a family member of a veteran. Thank you for your service and sacrifices. So yeah, the last time I sat down and did one of these, it was like the end of March, I think. Leave it alone, please. Sit down and look. Here, you hold this one. Hold it. You show it, okay? So when I went to Fiberfest, I didn't get a ton. I think that's a lie. I said that I wouldn't get any stock yarn, and I got a ton of stock yarn, and I did get a sweater's quantity of this. So this is Suburban Stitcher in her sock base, which is sock 75% merino, 25% nylon, and then her silky mohair lace base, 72% kid mohair, 28% silk, and her colorway Neptune. So I have been wanting to do the simple or no frills pullover. So I know a lot of people have done the pullover. I have been wanting to do the cardigan because we live in Texas and cardigans are way more practical than pullovers for our climate, especially mixed with mohair, because it adds so much warmth to it. So the no frills cardigan is what I wanted to shop for when I was shopping for yarn for this. And I did start it. It is pretty far along, I would say, because it is going to be such a long cardigan, but I still haven't even split for the sleeves. Y'all know how I am. I get started on a project and I get going on it, and then, I abandon it. But I did get these really cute stitch markers from Suburban Stitcher's booth at DFW too. They're like little raindrops, which I just thought was perfect for this colorway, and I had a little umbrella with it. And then a new stitch marker company to me. I've been getting stitch markers from her for a couple of weeks or months now. And it's Lock and Lou. Lock and Lou. And Molly of a Homespun House has talked about her. And I think the owner of this company, I'm totally blanking on her name, and Molly are like friends in real life. I might be wrong on that, but check out these freaking stitch markers that she does. This one's like a nebula, like the Aurora Borealis, with a pine tree background. So I'm not sure if you're seeing that because I know it's shaking. I'm not going to be able to get it to be still. And my nails look atrocious, but it is beautiful. I have a couple of different ones from her now. I just got these. Look at this freaking snowman. She makes these out of polyamber clay, and they are just freaking magical. Look at this little snowman. Oh my God, she is so talented. And she does paintings of pets and stuff, and I've even thought about telling my husband to get to have her do a commission of our pets, because I would love a painting of my pets. And this one's a little fox. I don't want to take him out of the package, but he's a little sleeping fox. I have some more of hers that you'll see on other projects because, like I said, I'm obsessed. Every Saturday she does a shop update, and I'm like, I get up early anyway, and I am one of the ones that's constantly ordering from her. But so that's how far I am on this. Not very far at all. I am pretty close to where I'm going to split for the sleeves. Something I do like about this, I will say, is you're knitting the ribbing as you're knitting the sweater. So you're not going to have to go back up later and pick up the neckband or the collar and knit it like I did on this cardigan. This is my Blue Sands cardigan that I knit when I was pregnant with a baby. And I knit it in Madeline Tosh DK. And this is basically my winter jacket in Texas. We get winter. It is freezing actually. Today it is in the teens, I want to say, maybe in the 20s. But it won't stay that way for very long. So we have cold snaps like this, but they're, a couple of days go by and it's back to the warm weather again. Or not warm, but like 60s, high 50s, something like that. So that was my DFW Fiber Fest trip. I actually was really cool, not to skip ahead. Oh, she's got my bag. My friend that I always see at DFW Fiber Fest has started making bags, and she's Nurse Kimber Knits. And let me show this one. We went to Hawaii on summer vacation this year, and I wanted her to make me a bag to take with me, and she made me this little Japanese nut style bag with these little hula girls, and let's show them what's in it. You want this bag? Okay. So when I went to Fiber Fest, I had gone to Hawaii a couple of years ago, but when we were at Fiber Fest, I wasn't planning on going back at that time, but I saw this sock blank with these sea turtles on it that Penny had done. Stacy and Penny of Brazen Stitchery are the dyers behind Brazen Stitchery. And Penny had dyed this sock blank with these like electric lime color and these like little copper kind of turtles. And it's like on a gold stellina base. Hang on, I'll put this back in here, okay? And so I bought this, not realizing we were going to Hawaii. And then when we booked our trip to Hawaii, I was like, I can knit on my sock blank while we go to Hawaii. This is how much knitting I got done on that vacation. We were gone for 10 days, I think. A little mustache of a toe. I was going to do a toe-up sock. And yeah, it didn't get very far at all. But I do love the sentiment behind it, and I will knit those socks, and they will be my Hawaii socks. Another thing that I worked on, I did finish this hat. Let's see if she'll let me have it. This is the Everyday Slouchy Beanie by Tristan of Dragon Horde Designs. It's a paid pattern. And she has you hold together a fingering weight with a mohair. And so my ends aren't woven in very well. I used a Madeline Tosh and fingering twist light in colorway Silver Fox, which is just really beautiful, very light gray tonal. And then I held it together with Shibui silk mohair in their like ash colorway. And then this is a toft alpaca pom-pom that just matched so perfectly. And it's kind of jacked up because the baby keeps pulling on it, so I need to re-secure it. And this end here just needs to be snipped. It was actually woven in. But I'll put it on. I did mess it up. There's a design element. There was some increases that I just didn't read the pattern and totally got over. I am a little blown out, but it is so warm and so cozy, and I'm definitely going to knit another. Again, not to mention Molly of a Homespin House, but I think she knit like 10 of these or something because it is such a nice, quick, easy pattern. It's something to give for the holidays for sure. The hat that I was wearing that I pulled off is my Kobuk by Caitlin. It's a pattern by Caitlin Hunter. But you want this one back? You want to put it on? No, you don't want to put it on? No, that's okay. Something else, this summer I kind of lost, my hair's the mess, my knitting mojo. And I just that has never really happened to me before. It did happen to me when I was crocheting. I was just like kind of over crocheting, and that's why I began knitting in the first place. Well, actually, I began spinning and then knitting, but I had been wanting to do, bear with me while I gather all of these little things that I want to talk about with this. I had been wanting to learn embroidery for a while. I think that I've talked about that on the podcast and how I'd mentioned, you know, just admiring embroidery and knowing that at some point, someday, I would probably pick it up. Sorry, I'm sticking through that basket. There was like all kinds of things. Okay, so I had, why didn't I grab my box? I'm going to go get my box. One sec. Okay, sorry about that. So I've had this for a while with some of these flosses, definitely not all of them, and a few like needles and stuff, just basics. I have since went and collected more tools of the trade since I started embroidering. But this was, so I had just some fabric on hand, and I tried my hand at just a few little stitches, and this is what I did. Please don't whack that again, or I will take the hat away from you. That is not nice. We do not act like that. Yes, ma'am? You need the hat on? Say, help me, please. Help me, please. Okay. You're not being very nice. You don't want the hat on. So I tried my hand at just a few different stitches. I really like these trees that I did here and this flower. And that's like another little pinwheel flower thing. Or I think they call them woven flowers. And then I started to do my name, kind of butchered that. And then I was trying to master French knots. And I've probably watched like the YouTube video a million times and got a couple of different ones. And for some reason, I just couldn't get it right. And my husband was seeing my frustration and sat down and did it in like 2 seconds. And it annoyed me so bad. But watching him, I realized what I was doing. And I was wrapping my yarn, my thread the wrong way around my needle. And so when I was pushing it through, it was just pulling that knot right out, which was just, like I said, super frustrating. But then after I got done playing around with this, I wanted to do a project. And so I found this free little sampler, free embroidery pattern from Follow the White Bunny. And it's the Be Happy sampler, and she has all these different color options. And then I am a terrible tracer. I don't know how you guys trace these. I was doing it like over my daughter's laptop and trying to, I didn't do a great job tracing it. And so some of my embroidery is a little bit wonky, and then some of it's just wonky anyway. But, and it's showing up like, you can see the back, but look, I made that. And again, it is not perfect. I definitely got better at the satin stitch as I did these hexagons. My bee is super wonky. He's got an uneven wing. My flowers are a little bit butchered. I did have a lot of fun doing this though, and I really did enjoy it. I didn't finish the back. You see my back's like, oh my God, so ugly. But I did like it enough that I went and invested in some more tools. Like I said, I got these really cool like retro towels. I have some from like my mother-in-law's grandmother embroidered some towels like this that I now own. And I've had friends, Molly Klein Designs, embroidered me a hand towel. So I have hers too. And so I really wanted to do that. So I got these little retro towels. I picked these up at Walmart, and when I was down, my Walmart doesn't have these. My mother-in-law's Walmart doesn't have these, but when I was down dropping off Etrella at camp in Bastrop, their Walmart had a big craft section, and they had these. But I've also seen these like at Hobby Lobby and stuff. Anyway, I got a couple of patterns. Do you want to sit down? There you go. I got a couple of patterns. So I got these like farm animals. because again, we live out in the country and I did have chickens and I will have chickens again. And I just really love these like roosters. That's going to be so much fun. I think there was like a pig. Yeah, this little pig was super cute. And then I got these are succulents and cacti. And I just thought those were just super fun. Again, we live in Texas. This is kind of not super, some of these, like we don't have this type of cactus here, but we have other types here. And then, you know, a state one because I wanted to do like our state. But I got the girls into it too, and they were like, oh, Mom, we want to embroider. We want to embroider, which made me feel really good, right? So Prudence did a little embroidery. Look how well she did. And this is my 8-year-old. And then my 13-year-old did this. Nothing at all. She was like, you know what? No. You need your sweater off? You need help? Sorry guys, but again, like if I'm gonna do this, this is the way. She wants the other jacket. One sec. Okay, so the embroidery. Yeah, so Estrella definitely wasn't her thing. Prudence thought it was pretty cool, but she didn't want to make anything past that first project she did. Another thing that I worked on quite a bit, I just dropped yarn for it, is my Sunset Highway. And I finished the body. So that's where I am on it. I really am irritated with, I need to try out helix knitting. I alternated my skeins of yarn on this, and you can still see like some flashes on this body here, especially like in this section where the yellow just all kind of pulls together. And I mean, it's not as noticeable on. I definitely put it on and kind of walked around with it. I would have ripped it out if I felt like it was super flashy or like pulley. I would have ripped it out. But my kids and my husband were like, what are you even talking about? It doesn't clump together. The colors don't clump together. And so, but that's how far I got on that. I definitely want to get the sleeves picked up and hopefully get this as an FO before 2020. But you know, we'll see if that actually happens. I did finish the cardigan that I was working on for Trilla. And guess where I found it? Wadded up on her floor underneath her desk. So Atrella doesn't get sweaters anymore. She told me, no, Roger doesn't want you to take that. Please don't take it from Roger. Okay, but Roger has this little toy, and he doesn't do so great with the baby. He's a very snappy old person, and so she can't take his toys from him. And I just, don't go follow him, please. I just worry about her with him because he's just not a great kid dog. But he's our dog, and it's important that he stay in our family. And so I just keep them separated. But I mean, he's not going to like attack her or bite her. He's maybe like 15 pounds. He couldn't do much damage. I would probably feel differently, is what I'm saying, is if it was Lucy, my 120-pound Mastiff that was like snappy with the baby, but it's not. It's my little tiny dog. And he's an old man, so he's kind of, but anyway, so this is the sweater that I finished for Trilla. She wore it maybe twice and then just decided she doesn't really like knitted cardigans, and she would rather just have knitted socks or knitted hats. And I love it. It fits me. It's a little smaller than I would knit for myself, but it's okay. I'm going to get my coffee. One sec. Did I not pause it? I just walked away from you guys. Come in here. You want a cookie? Okay, sorry guys. I was talking a lot. I needed a drink. So, but this sweater is also not at all something like a color that I would wear, I guess. But Prudence is growing really fast, and she will fit in it before long, and she loves my knitted sweaters. She had one that she wore and wore and wore. Oh, my weaving stuff. Oh, I forgot my weaving stuff. I need to grab my weaving stuff. Prudence had a sweater that she is outgrown now that she wore to death. I'm going to go grab that because I think that's the next thing I want to talk about. Yeah, because that came before Hawaii. So let me grab that. Okay, so Atrella, and it's so funny because Michelle of Naughty Knitwits gave me a really hard time about this. But Atrella went to a overnight wilderness camp, summer camp this summer. I drove her down to Bastrop, which is about 4 hours south of us, 4 or 5 hours. And so it was a little road trip. The girls and I went by ourselves. Dad, had to work, so he stayed home. I drove down with the baby. Like, I need a medal or something. I took a road trip by myself with 3 kids. And so we stayed the night in a hotel overnight just to be close to the camp because she had to be there like at, 10 in the morning or something, and I wasn't going to get up that early. So we left the night before, stayed overnight, and on our drive back, Prudence, the baby, and I didn't have a Trella, so we stopped at this really cool Dinosaur Park place, just to get the kids out of the car, like have Prudence do something fun too, since she's still a little young for overnight camp. But we went to this really cool dinosaur park that's in Bastrop, so if you're around that area, I think it's kind of hokey, but it was definitely cheap, and so if you're nearby, I think it's worth checking out, especially if you have a young child into dinosaurs. The baby and Prudence loved it, and it's like this little nature walk, and so at the time it was July, super freaking hot outside, but it was still worth it. It's shaded, it's spring water. They do have wagons that you can use, or a stroller or whatever. I just usually put her in like a little backpack thing. But we did that, and I also totally missed the thing I did with my mother-in-law. But my new thing is I used to collect coffee mugs everywhere we go, but I'm out of room to store coffee mugs, and I actually donated a ton that I thought I would never get rid of because I just don't have room for them. And so I decided my new thing is to get Christmas ornaments. Like, how appropriate is it to get like a little Christmas ornament whenever you go souvenir shopping? And almost everywhere when you souvenir shop has a Christmas ornament. So we got this little dinosaur to commemorate, probably the first one, our trip to the Dinosaur Park. Now, I'm going to jump backwards for a second, but I totally forgot to look up what that place is called. For my mother-in-law's birthday, she's been wanting to go down to Waco, the Silos, Magnolia. Chip and Joanne on the HGTV network have that show. I'm not sure what it's called. I've seen it a ton. I just don't have regular television service, so I don't regularly watch it. But my mother-in-law is obsessed with, bear with me, I'm going to look something up. My mother-in-law is obsessed with it. Not obsessed, but she's a fan, and she's always wanted to go down to the Silos, check it out. And so, can I please? She's trying to turn her movie back. Okay, so sorry. She's going nuts and trying to turn her movie back on because this is her movie time that I'm interrupting. So rude, Mommy. But I took my mother-in-law down to Waco. And then, always, what do you do when you go to a new area that you've never been to? You look up yarn stores. And my mother-in-law is a real good sport anyway, but she had been wanting me to make her some stuff, so I wanted her to be able to pick out the yarn for it. So it wasn't totally selfish that I was taking myself to a yarn store on my mother-in-law's birthday weekend, okay? She needed yarn. She did end up picking up some yarn for me to make her. She has this like water bottle that she carries around, and I've made her this like a crocheted water bottle cozy, like with a strap. Super basic, simple. Like, I don't even use a pattern. It's just crochet, okay? You just make it up. And she also has a phone like purse holder thing that's the same, but she's been, asking for more or asking for different colors of those. So I wanted to take her into this place, and I looked up, and it is like so much more than a yarn store. So the place is called Homestead Fiber Crafts, and it says it's in Waco, but it's definitely not Waco proper because you kind of go out into the country. But once you get out there, it's like this homestead. I mean, it's not just a yarn store. It's this entire community of stores to serve this like community. It was amazing. We didn't have time to go into each and every place, but we went into the like grocery store, which had a lot of really great like homeopathic stuff and locally grown like grains and flowers, and I mean just really incredible. And then they had a bakery, and then they had a ceramic shop, they had a place that was making goat cheese, they had sheep on the property. This place was just totally amazing. My mother-in-law were like, oh yeah, we need to come back down here and plan to spend just the day here doing this. And we also didn't get to do all of the Magnolia stuff anyway, so we want to go back down. But I didn't grab any of the yarn. I do have one thing of yarn left from that adventure to show you, but I don't have it with me. And I already had made my mother-in-law one of her water bottle cozies, and she actually gave it away to somebody that really wanted it. And she knows that she constantly tries to get me to make those to sell because people, according to her, she can't go anywhere and not have 5 people stop her to ask about the water bottle holder that I made her. And so eventually she met this lady through my father-in-law had just undergone surgery. My sister-in-law, this is crazy, you guys. So miraculous. Like, science is freaking amazing. My sister-in-law just gave my father-in-law a kidney. He has polycystic kidney disease. He's needed a kidney transplant for quite a bit. He's been on dialysis and stuff, and it's just really hard on you as a person to have to be hooked up to a machine to clean your blood. And so she was a match, and she gave him a kidney, and it's just like this crazy thing that's happened, and he's got a new lease on life, and magic. Science is magic. But my mother-in-law met somebody through all of that process that ended up giving her the water bottle thing that I made her. So now she needs another one. That's the point of that story. What else? We also went to Hawaii, like I mentioned. This is going to be long, guys. I'm sorry. No. Let me go back to Atrella. Prudence and I went to that dinosaur park, but the deal was, again, we'll go to this dinosaur park if Mommy can stop at a yarn store on the way home. So I went to Hill Country Weavers. Bastrop is just south of Austin. In Austin, I have to drive right through to get home. And Hill Country Weavers is in Austin. I've been wanting to check them out for a while. They always have a really incredible booth at DFW Fiberfest. And so I went into their store. It is amazing. If you were ever in the area, definitely check it out. It's an easy on-off the highway situation. I think where they were before, it wasn't as easy because they were like on South Congress, which is like downtown. But now where they are, it's like literally on and off 35. Just boom. Super convenient. I'm all about the convenience of the easy on off highway, especially on a road trip because you don't want to do a bunch of extra driving. She needs help with her stool. 1 second. We're never gonna get through this, are we? Okay, so I went to Hill Country Weavers and I got a loom because I've been wanting a loom. I got the I thought this would say the size. It doesn't. It's a Harrisfield's Design Friendly Loom. I don't know. And it has like some instructions, and it came with like, I don't know the tool names. Shuttle, thingamajiggy. I don't know. I'm super knowledgeable. But here's what I got done so far. So not much at all, but I definitely had fun playing with it. The girls did a bit on it. They liked it too. Yeah, so I definitely want to get, a rigid heddle. I don't know. I want to get a better one. But I need to finish I told myself, finish at least 3 projects on this, even if they're small. Finish 3 things, and then you can invest in an actual, real loom. But that is fun, and I do like that for, doing wall hangings and stuff. I think that will be really cool. So we went to Hawaii, I've been obsessed with that crafty little fox bags for a while, and I started investing in them in this summer. I think I have 3. I don't have the other one with me, but this is a crafty little fox bag with a leather handle, wax canvas bottom, and then this really cute like fabric. This one has like ravens on it. This like covers all my fandoms, okay? So Vikings, Game of Thrones, Harry Potter because of Ravenclaw. So it's just like, it covers all my fandoms. I love that bag. So when I went to Hawaii, I got this yarn. We went to Yarn Story because when you go to a new place, you go to the yarn place. There were a couple of options in Honolulu. Yarn Story was definitely like bare bones. It's Hawaii. I'm not expecting them to have like a ton of yarn. One of the other places that I saw pictures of online seemed like it had much more of a selection, but I don't like super packed yarn places because then I can't find anything. So I went to Yarn Story. They had things like Malabrigo, some other things that I can't even remember because it's November now, and that was back in like August. But I did pick up 2 skeins of this worsted weight Rios Malabrigo in the colorway Pines, and then 1 skein of this, and it's the Ario Malabrigo, which I think is like a DK, and it's the secret colorway. And this just screams Hawaii to me with its like botanical greens and purples and just very rich and vibrant. We did a lot of like hiking and stuff and while we were there, and that was very reminiscent of that to me. I had no idea what I was going to do with this when I got home. I thought a hat and maybe a cowl because I had 2 skeins of this. But what I ended up doing was ordering more of this from Jimmy Beans and deciding I was going to do a What the Fade cardigan, all one color, until I got to the collar and the sleeves, the bottom of the sleeves, and I think the end of the collar I'll fade this skein of yarn in. And I think it will be beautiful, and it will be my Hawaii sweater, even though, you know, you don't need a sweater in Hawaii. I'm in the middle of a row, of course. I cannot believe I did that. But this is definitely been an enjoyable knit. The What the Fade cardigan it's not the What the Fade cardigan, Comfort Fade cardigan. It's the Comfort Fade cardigan. I was working on a cardigan for my husband called Slade, and I should have brought that to you guys because I am all the way done with 1 solid bag, 1 front panel, and a half of another front panel, and I've decided to rip out all of that progress and knit him a Comfort Fade cardigan instead because I feel like that will fit his overall body shape better. What I'm going to do is incorporate the saddle shoulders that my Blue Sands cardigan has. I don't know if you can see this, but it has a raglan shaping. But before you get to the raglan shaping, you do this thing in this pattern called a saddle shoulder. I was at my sister-in-law's house this weekend, and my cardigan smells like campfire because we were sitting around a fire. But yeah, so you see how it like is straight with these increases, and then you go into your raglans. I don't know if you can see that. But so I'm going to incorporate that into my husband's sweater in hopes that it will just like sit on his frame better because I don't want it sliding off the back, which is what my featherweight cardigan tends to do, is just like slide off the back of my shoulders. Super annoying. But the Slade looks to be that same like construction type, and I would hate to put that much amount of work into something as like an extra large sweater for my extra large husband and then it not work for him. That would be heartbreaking and frustrating, and then I would never want to make him anything, but it wouldn't be his fault because of the fit, right? But so yeah, that's my plan. I will knit a dozen more of these Comfort Fade cardigans. The pattern is so intuitive, so simple. You just knit while you're increasing your little raglan shapings. You can wear it inside or outside. I'm definitely going to, this version, I'm going to wear, you know, the wrong side out, which is the right way to wear this. But I really do like how this yarn's working together. It was definitely, so I was alternating the 2 skeins I got in Hawaii while I was waiting on the shipment from Jimmy Beans, and I really should have waited before I started it to begin with because the Definitely the yarn that I got from Jimmy Beans was a lot darker than the Hawaii yarn. So it just had more, darker navy colors in it. And so you can kind of see a difference to where this is a lot lighter and this is a lot darker. But again, it's the comfort or the, comfort fade cardigan. So I'm not worried about it. And here's another one of those progress keepers that I got from Lock and Lou. And this one's a mountain background with trees, with like pine trees. You see that? It's so beautiful. Please ignore my nails. And then my little like Buddha head. We did go to the Biodu in Temple while we were in Hawaii. If you're ever there on Oahu, I definitely recommend checking that out. During our trip, so Tim has been there for work a couple of times. I've only been there once before. The girls, this was their first trip. And we took my sister, this was also her first trip, as like a helper for the kids. Yeah, that should have. We won't even say anything about that. So we went to Hawaii. We were on the Big Island, or on Oahu for the main part of our trip, but then we also took this day or 2-day trip to the Big Island, which is the island of Hawaii, but they call it the Big Island. And my husband and older girls night snorkeled with manta rays. So I stayed on the boat with this one. But I was able to see quite a bit of them night snorkeling with these manta rays, and it's incredible. So I didn't really know that there was a difference between manta rays and stingrays. I'm not a marine biologist. I just don't know that much about ocean life. But so a stingray will basically get I think it's 8 to 10 feet, give or take 4 feet. I think maybe 6 or something around there. Not huge. Manta rays can get up to 16 to 22 feet tip to tip, like their little wings, for lack of a better word. And so these things are huge, massive, massive things. And this place in Hawaii is one of the only places in the world that you can swim with manta rays. And that's just incredible. I mean, it was a once in a lifetime experience, truly. And I'm so glad that, my family did that and got to experience that. So that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed being there. I do wish we would have had more time on the Big Island because I would have liked to go to the National Volcano Forest, National Park, not forest because it's not a forest. But overall, it was an amazing time had by all. When we got back, what did we do? The girls started school, but I was super inspired by Mama. Let me look at my notes. That will help me. Fiberfest, Embroidery, Silos, Hawaii. I already showed you my gray hat and my cardigan. Those are my FOs. Mama Tacha, MAMATCHA on IG, on Instagram. Super inspired me to do my pinguino. So she did a pinguino for her little son over the summer, and the colors were just very autumnal and earth tones and incredible. And I was inspired by one of her sweaters last year to knit her a cardigan of some sort, but when I saw the pinguino, I was like, that's it. That's the cardigan I'm going to knit. So I went and I collected all of my pink. I need you to stop. Hang on. I'll give you one. You call this one. Hold it. Hold it. I'll hold it in your hand, Keisha. Okay, so I also got this fuzz, this mohair at DFW Fiberfest, specifically for this cardigan that I wanted to put work into her. This is Lang Yarns Lace Mohair Super Kid Silk, and it was a cheap mohair option, or cheaper than hand-dyed option because it's not inexpensive. 339 yards for $18 of this. And so I put all these pinky tonal fun yarns in here and started making her a pinguino. And I was obsessed with this project for about 2 weeks. I didn't knit anything else. I just knit on this. And that's insane for me. I'm not that kind of knitter at all. But here lately I'll go for, 2 or 3 weeks working on one thing and getting it super close. And then, starting something else because that's my life. But so this yarn here that I used in the main section is I won this as a prize from Wool Needle Hands. Taylor had a giveaway, and this is her Cactus Flower colorway, which I've always coveted in my stash and just haven't found the right thing for it. And so I held it with another skein of yarn. This was like a mini that I had. So I held that together, and it created, along with the mohair, and it created this just really beautiful, like purpley speckled seed stitch border. And then I did my whelps, and the colors I did my whelps in were this coral, this green, and this gray. So this gray is the silver fox left over from my hat, from my everyday beanie. This is a mini that I had, which is a beautiful, like, minty color. And then this coral, again, is just a very, like, beautiful melony coral. And that's what I did my whelps in. Again, holding all of that with the mohair, I did my little whelps. And I just had so much fun with those. And then I did my stripes, which I wasn't excited about those. And then I came in to do this side, and I hate this. So I'm ripping this out, and it was in timeout for a while. But up until I got to my stripey side section, I was rocking this and loving every minute of it. I definitely have plans to continue it and finish it. I did do a size big, what would be a size big on her this year, thinking that it would be big on her this year, fit next year, and even possibly the next year. Because at this point, y'all know, kids really slow down. When they reach between 2 and 4, they might grow in like height a lot, but they don't grow in width a lot. So, yeah, I can always add stuff to the bottom, and that's all in my fringe supply bag, which again, these, Fawn and the Fox bags, or not Fawn and the Fox, sorry, that Crafty Fox, that Crafty Little Fox are very similar in size, to the fringe bags. The fringe are definitely heavier because they're, canvas. This is like, a cotton, but they're similar in size. They don't have the interior pockets on this size, but I have a size bigger than this that has interior pockets. It just depends on what you want. So another project. Okay, I'll show you my Pinguino now, because that's where we are in the series. I had to begin a Pinguino for myself. I went stash diving and found all of these beautiful, beautiful autumnal yarns. I'm going to show you like this. Here, let me tilt it. Look at that. So there's some greens. There's some definitely like, okay, that's showing up pretty accurately. This one's like a reddy autumnal. This one's definitely orangey. This is one of my favorites in the whole series. This one too. This is just like a dark tonal brown. This one's got lots of colors. This one might not go in, nor will this one. These two might not go in, but they might. So I'm going to pull these two out because I definitely want to talk about these. Oh, and these are my whelps. So on my Pinguino, those are going to be my whelps. This is a Hedgehog Fibers, and then these two are a dyer that's no longer dyeing. But these colors, this is Mitchell Creations. Her and I were partnered together in a swap a couple years ago. She was like my Advent swap partner, and this was the full skein of yarn she gave me, and I've been coveting it since. It's called Dreaming of Rhinebeck, and it's these like autumnal greens, like orangey, brown, copper, and then there's like some shots of purpley in here. It's beautiful. And then there's this one I got is a singles, and it's a Madeline Tosh, and it's just like this speckly, browny, creamy, orangey, purpley, autumnal dream. And I originally had plans to do a brioche hat with this, but I'm going to put it into my Pinguino, possibly as like a full front panel. She's super touchy on my one side. Okay, so we have workers here now, so you might hear some background noise or my dog pushing its water bowl. But this will definitely be like a front panel of my sweater. And here's what I have worked on so far. Oh, and this is the mohair that I'm holding throughout. Oh, can you even? This is called Jubilee by Chasing Rabbits Fiber Co. And it's her mohair, and this is my favorite thing ever. And I keep buying more of it because I want to mix it into all the projects. So here is where I am. Still in the back panel. Still haven't gotten a ton done on this. And you're going to hear banging, so sorry. But I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with the way the colors are turning out, how it's like orange or purple or brown, depending on how you look at it. I think it's going to be such a great like winter jacket for me with that mohair. I do wish I would have sized down my needles a bit more. He doesn't recommend you use hand-dyed yarn either when you're doing the version I'm doing. I think he recommends you use like a loftier yarn instead of a denser yarn because of how heavy the garment's going to be. Whatever, Stephen West. But I think he said use a 9, and I'm using an 8, and I still even wish I would have done like a 7 maybe, just to make it a little bit denser because it's very like airy and loose with that seed stitch. But I'm holding this double with the mohair right now, and this is a dyer that's no longer dyeing, but it's like this orangey, purpley, greeny, autumnal. All the yarns are this in some variation where it's more green, more orange, more purple. It just depends on which yarn. So I think that's really cool, and that it's going to have this overall like cohesive effect. But again, this was definitely inspired by that person's IG, Mama Tacha. Her son's Pinguono definitely inspired the colors behind mine. And then, yeah, I think, oh no, that's not it. I started the Stephen West. I'm going to take a sip. The Stephen West Mystery Knit Along. I want to do it every year. I think one year I bought yarn for it and started it and then, didn't get very far. So I was dead set against buying yarn for this. But I already had these 2 skeins in my stash. And I was like, well, I'll just go ahead and start it. But I did have to kick these up. So this is Molly of a Homespun House in her Conspiracy Theory colorway. And this is Madeline Tosh in the El Greco colorway. Just my, favorite charcoal color. And I really, really loved this part of the pattern, just like that beginning part. And so basically, as soon as I got that done, I didn't need to do any of it. Will I finish this? More than likely. I really do like the overall shawl. I think it's super, super cool. I think that I'll also, when it gets to the brioche part where you can either do brioche or substitute garter, I'll do garter and hold the mohair either with the gray or the variegated to do that striping section. I think it's overall a super fun shawl. And I'm using these little kitty cat stitch markers that I got at Fancy Tiger Crafts when I was there in Colorado. I freaking love these. Because keep knitting, kitten. That's what Stephen West would say. And yeah, so this had to be on there. And then an axe is my middle stitch marker because Vikings is returning December 4th. Are you guys ready? Because I need to rewatch all the previous episodes before I can watch the new season. I'm a weirdo like that. So while I was working on this, though, Molly of Homespun House revamped her Susie Dale sock pattern. And I'm not pregnant. I don't know anybody that's pregnant, but I really wanted to knit that baby sock. And so I'm looking for it. It's in here. I held El Greco this is the Goblin King by Twisted Owl Studios, I think. It's just a white yarn with lots of blue speckles and some flashes of pink. But I thought that would be so cool in color work. So I did the little trees, and I did do the little tie. It's somewhere. Oh, I have one more thing to show you guys. 2 more things to show you guys. So here's the little tie to go through these little loops. And all I need to do is Kitchener. But I didn't knit a second sock because, again, I don't even know why I knit this one. I don't have any babies in my future. I also mentioned getting an ornament everywhere, so I picked one up at Magnolia while we were there at the silos. And because I was knitting from stash and I only had 1 skein of each of these, I had to get 2 more. And I ordered this. This is yarn that I've been wanting for a while from Molly. It's Mermaid of the Black Lake, and that was my Halloween costume. So I ordered this, and I'm so happy I did. But one thing, and I'm not like one to like complain or point out things, but I think Molly has enough of a following that it's not going to matter anything that I say. I wish she didn't staple her labels. I ended up pulling a thread loose on this yarn because of the staple. So that sucks. And I don't think that yarn dyers should use staples in their yarn. But who am I? Nobody. And another yarn, again, I'm not knitting socks at all lately, guys, so I don't know why I'm obsessed with sock yarn. But I had to get some Halloween sock yarn. I don't know why. I had to order some Halloween sock yarn. And I'd never ordered from Malia Made It before. But I had, so I was like journaling and I had all of my pins for Halloween. I was doing like this Halloween series, had like all my pins lined up and it was all of these colors. I immediately saw my pins lined up and I was like, I need self-striping sock yarn like that. Even though I haven't knit a sock in a year, I got to go get that right now. Got on Etsy, just typed in that and then Malia Made It. First time I bought from her. Did not disappoint. This is so electric and so beautiful and definitely all the colors of those pins that I had. There was an orange, black, purple, green, pink stripe. Beautiful. And she even threw in this little extra mini. And this is the Neon Nightmare colorway. But I would definitely go check out her yarns. You would not be disappointed. And the Roger. No, sir. I have been picking up just random things for a while, but I had to do this. Like these little mushrooms with this little hedgehog. Love this. And then again, spooky spider webs. Pick those up. The last thing I've been working on that is so almost an FO, like I'm going to sit down today and finish this, is the little gnome. I don't think I have the front page because the baby saw the front page and she really liked Layla. Mina Phillip designed this pattern called the Little Garden Gnome hoodie. Hush, Roger. And Layla's on the cover picture and the baby carried around that picture and like loved it and hugged it and kissed it. So I'm making her that. I don't have that to show you, but it is this far along. I'm on the hood. So I've knit the entire body, both of the arms, and I am about, I don't know, an inch left before I can, Kitchener the hood up. And she has a hoodie and she's obsessed with hoodies right now. So I just thought this would be too adorable to make her a hoodie. This yarn is Malabrigo and the colorway Ravelry Red. I really, really wanted to knit this in Madeline Tosh Tart, but West 7th didn't have Tart and Madeline Tosh was going through their buyout by Jimmy Beans, and so there was nothing on their website. There was no yarn anywhere to be had, Madeline Tosh. That was a little bit frustrating. I have since checked Ravelry beef stashes, and I think that I'm just going to stock up on all of the weights of Tart, because Tart is my favorite red ever, and I just need to knit all of the things. I need to knit myself a cardigan. I need to knit the baby more things in that colorway. But so I talked about, sorry guys, I have frogs in my throat. You did make a noise with the dog food. That was what the baby was entertaining herself with. I talked about Lock and Lou. So I got a fox sleeping, but I also got this little raccoon sleeping. I freaking love him. And again, a sword. Trella was like, don't let your sword kill the raccoon. But my sword is commemorating Vikings coming out. Y'all, I'm a weirdo, I know. But yeah, so that's where I am with that. Almost done. I really love this texture. I totally messed it up in some places. I do think that I'm going to rip the bottom out and knit it longer just so I don't have to do that next year. I did end up knitting the sleeves a bit longer than the pattern asked for just because I knew I could cuff them up and then she could wear it next year. The reason why I say that is because this sweater, here it is. Sorry for that side shot. This I knit last year out of some scraps. This is Malabrigo in the Ivy colorway and the natural colorway. And this still fits her. It's long enough, and the sleeves are just long enough because I knit them too long last year. But I knit the body too long last year too. And so last year this was a little long on her. I always cuff the sleeves. But now this year it fits her kind of snug, but nicely. So I think I'm going to go ahead and extend the body on that. And then there's another sweater. I'm going to knit this again in a solid colorway. I have Malabrigo in the Volcano colorway. I think I'm going to knit her another sweater. I need to fix all of the little ends poking out. But that's definitely all I got to show you guys. Wow, a whole hour of talking. I hope I still have some of you guys sticking around. Thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me. I hope that you guys have enjoyed me showing off what I've been working on, and I can't wait to hear what you think in the comments. See you soon, hopefully soon, like in another week or so, maybe 2.